Alrighty. Let's do this thing, huh? Live on Instagram. Live on YouTube. And we're recording the podcast. Woo! Alright. Let's dive right on in, huh? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. Episode 96 of the Dugout. As my voice goes out on me as we start. What a good start. Alright, people. Limited rundown today. It's been a week. I apologize. I put out an official PR notice on Twitter the other day. So I apologize for the delay for episode 96. It was half joking, trying to be funny, like an emergency press conference type thing. There was a delay, I've gotten into day trading a little bit, little Davey Day Trader Jr. Not really, but took a little mini vacation, went to Crested Butte. So, a lot going on. Work has been crazy. I'm only one person, can only do so much. Sounds a little more hollow than normal. So if you're listening to the podcast, let me know if it sounds okay. I think it sounds fine, but well, hello. All right, so we're live streaming on Instagram. If you're watching on Instagram, you can always tune in on YouTube. Dave Ackert, it will be live and it stays up after it's over. Dave Ackert on YouTube. Try to pump up those subscriptions for me, peeps. We still gotta, we gotta get to 100. Isn't that the mark? I'm at like 40 subscribers. We gotta get to 100 so I can change the URL so it can be just youtube.com/Dave Ackert or Ackattack or something. Actually, I think, anyway. All right, peeps. So like I kind of said off the top here, my rundown is less detailed than normal, I guess would be the way to word that. So I'm just going to vamp. I just wanted to get an episode out here. Like I said, a lot going on. And it's Super Bowl weekend. And it's Super Tuesday today. Time stamp on the podcast. It's 11:41 Mountain Time. February 2nd already. Can't believe it's already February. So that went pretty quick here. So yeah, a couple things off the top here. Then we'll talk Super Bowl, college basketball. Got some trade news going down. And, then we'll get out of here. So, first thing off the top. This happened last night. So, this is fresh breaking news. Ridiculous news. Now that I've had time to think on it, a little hypocritical on the media's part of this. So, if you didn't see yet, I'm just checking the live streams, make sure we're still going. Honestly, I thought this was actually pretty funny. And, I'm not a LeBron James hater, quote, but we all know the thought process behind all that. I actually thought his reaction to this was very funny in the post game. So if you haven't seen it, a couple fans got kicked out of the Atlanta Hawks game last night versus the Lakers. LeBron's in town. They're allowing a limited amount of fans. So there's some rich people sitting courtside. And this, I'm assuming billionaire guy starts, going back and forth with LeBron. They're cursing each other out. It's good. LeBron, after the game, says, I missed fans. I need that. It's fun. I don't blame him. A couple F-bombs got dropped. A couple B-words. And the guy's wife gets involved. And she says, you don't talk to my husband like that. Blah, blah, blah. You B-word. And LeBron calls her a B-word. So it's, it's like, sit down, you B. I'm trying to be safe here. So, it's all fun. And then they end up getting kicked out. I don't know if it was because they weren't wearing their mask or because they were cursing them out. And there's not a lot of fans. So you can probably obviously hear everything that they're saying. The hypocritical part of it is kind of like ESPN and other Like LeBron's post game interviews going viral, and it's like a joking thing. He's like, "Yeah, I miss the fans. Like, I miss that," and they're heckling him. Uh, but her personal Instagram story, I don't. This lady is clearly like, I'm not a fan, but I'm not a fan of either. This whole thing is just ridiculous. I don't know why I'm giving it so much time, but like, because I almost feel like if this was someone else, if it wasn't LeBron, this they would have flipped this story totally around. Like if this was Russell Westbrook or someone, or like a Ron Artest back in the day, people would be like asking to get this guy fired and kicked out of the league. I mean, for calling somebody a B. I mean, because in her personal Instagram story, she's like, "What kind of man calls a woman a B and tells her to sit down?" So there's she might have had a little shit to that. I don't know how much I trust this lady or what I want to, how much you want to invest in this, but I don't know. I just thought since it's like LeBron's like the golden child, like can't do any wrong, even though he's like cursing out people on the sidelines. I don't know. What a mess. I like. Is it entertaining? Yeah. So people love their drama. We'll give it to them. That's what's going on in that world. Oh, I wanted to start off with a shot, not a shot of alcohol like you would probably think, but we ended one of the last shows with my little game. If you're on Instagram, go on YouTube so you can see the hoop. Let me pull up so I can see myself. Oh wait, no, that's the delayed one. Okay. So it's 11 a.m. on a Tuesday. If you're drinking, you might have a problem, and we might be friends. So I just have coffee. That's gonna be my drink. If you want to do whatever you want to do, that's up to you. Ah, close. All right, so I figured we'll do that beginning and end of the shows, and if I do those Saturday podcasts, I'll drink along with you guys. Here, I just got a little shot of espresso. So cheers. I wanted to do a podcast last Saturday. And that's when I put out the PR statement and said, sorry for missing a week, but like I said, busy times call for busy measures. What? All right, so that's the LeBron news, and part of it, part of that, what made me start thinking because last night, if I would have done this story, I would have just been like, oh, that was funny, whatever. Barstool tweeted out something, maybe even it was Dave Portnoy. LeBron, rah 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 rah, getting away with, who is he calling her, whatever. I don't know. So we're done with that. Let's go over to just the stock market in general. It has been wild and taking up too much of my time, so I'm kind of over it. Especially now that it's like going down and I'm losing money. It's like, man. But the same kind of thing happened with Bitcoin. I'm hoping that kind of, that like spiked and then now it's like gone back up. So maybe they really screwed us. And by they, I mean like big money, big money people. I mean, this thing was taken off to the moon. I mean, I always say GameStop stock was, I mean, hitting 400, and then they just capped us off, cut us, no more trading. You can only sell. That really screwed the whole momentum of the thing, because I think that day is when it was going to take off to the moon like we all wanted. And, Dave Portnoy, Elon Musk, Mark Cuban, they're all on the same page that this is messed up. And Portnoy brought up a great point on Twitter that when you have AOC and like Donald Trump Jr. and what's his name from Texas, Ted Cruz, all tweeting and like agreeing with each other, you're like far left people and Donald Trump Jr. all saying that this was messed up. That doesn't happen anymore. We rarely agree on anything, and for us to agree that they screwed us on the stock market means something. I don't know what's going to come of it. They're probably going to screw us more. They're going to put restrictions on the everyday trader, which is exactly what Robinhood set up. I mean, the name Robinhood for the app, steal from the rich, give to the poor, that has gone by everyone's mad at that. So people are switching to other apps, Webull and Fidelity. I mean, I've made accounts with both of them now. Am I going to transfer my stuff over from Robinhood? I don't know. I'm trying not to make like knee-jerk reactions. So, like, it's just a mess, and we all get screwed. I've always been a person. People, if you know me, you know. I think big businesses, once they get too big, are not good, and for this reason, there's just too much power. People have just too much power and things. But there's like, it's just one of those things. Well, what can we do? There's only so much. And this was like one of those times we had enough people that we were making a change. And enough people like coming together and doing something, and then that just squashed us like little bugs. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane what big money can do, and that's my brief take on that. I'm gonna try to keep today quick. We're not. Are we off to a good start? I feel like I'm rambling already. Here's another hot take, I guess. I'm like full of just random nonsense this week, so bear with me. The X Games. I was supposed to go to the X Games. I was supposed to be there, interviewing the athletes, seeing the super pipe in person for the first time. COVID. Nope, sorry. ESPN camera crew only. No outside media. No snowmobiling. No Paralympics. Just snowboarding and skiing. 3 days instead of 4. No concerts. Bubble. But the mountain's still open for skiing. For the general public. That's fine. The X Games was fun. I mean, I loved it. I'm always going to watch it. I do have a little bit of a criticism with the way they scheduled things. Was a little odd, I thought. They did put the men's snowboarding super pipe as the last thing on Sunday. I also thought it was just too late. I don't know if that was a timing issue. There were other things on ESPN, so they couldn't. I mean, they even had a slot on ABC. I think 10 p.m. Eastern time is a little too late, though. I don't know many people that are going to stay up to watch the X Games at 10 p.m. Eastern. So that they need to fix. I think they also could have put some of the bigger events together. I get you want to spread them out so people watch every day. They could have, but so yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of money into it and a lot of I'm sure they know what they're doing. The thing I thought of, and tell me if this is just me not being good at math. Maybe I'm just stupid. So let me know if you can follow this more closely. But back in the day when snowboarding first got started, and I'm on the younger side of this, but even when I was a kid, there was this video game called 1080 for the Nintendo 64. It was a snowboarding video game. And a 1080 was like an unheard of, unfathomable, can't do it in real life, so you might as well do it on this video game. You shoot off a giant cliff that's like not even possible, and you just spin as many times as you can, and you do a 1080. Because a 360 and a 720, that's one full 360, 720. A 180 is 3 full spins. Now they do double backflips and 1080s. Now they do 1440s, and they can even do is it 1620 or 1680? And then now, I believe somebody landed an 1800, which is 5 full spins. So my point here is, all those numbers, I think we gotta get rid of that. It's too much. When it was just when people could just do a 360 and a 720, I was like, okay, I can count that really quick in my head. That's 2 spins. Now they're doing 4.5 spins, and you call it a 1440, and it's like a double cork backside because you have to name the grab to. I'm a snowboarder, and it's confusing. I think we need to kind of dumb this down a little for the masses so we can make it more popular. I feel like hardcore snowboard fans would get offended by this. I'm not, because it's my idea. But wouldn't it be, the announcer, so wouldn't it be easier if we just called it like a 4.5? If they spin 4.5 times? Or call it like a backside 4 or a double cork 4 when they, like a double. The names I get, because different grabs, you have to call it a different thing. If they grab the front of their board, it's there's a tail and a nose so I get that. And then the way you go off the jump changes, if you go off goofy or regular. So there is a lot to it. So can't we just simplify the number at least? Can't we just call it like a double back 4 when they do a double backflip and spin 4 times? 4.5. That's my only thing. I think that might be a good idea. If we can call it a 5 or a 5.5 or a 4.5 instead of a 1440, 1620, or an 1800. And then they started shortening 1800 to 18. They're just like, that was a double back something something 18. Oh, so they spun 18 times? No, it was 1800, but nobody wants to say 1800. So why can't we just say 5? Why are we saying 18 when they spun around 5 times? So that's my thought. I think we could make that better for the general public because I mean it's just gotten too crazy. They're too good at snowboarding and skiing anymore. Well, I just got really excited. I got like so excited I was laughing. I forgot I had like one other thing I wanted to say about it. I don't know. Does that make sense? Can somebody let me know? Because I tried to tweet that and it didn't really come out in words. And plus, Twitter limits your amount of like characters. So you had to put it in like 2 or 3 tweets. And just like it's hard to explain. That was even just hard to explain while I was talking. Um, Damn, there was one more point I wanted to make about it. Whatever. Tons of fun, cool stuff. Yeah, lost it. So that's my thought on the X Games. I think we could. I don't know. I don't think that's a terrible idea. And then this happened a little while back. This is a little dated, but I feel like it was noteworthy. Conor McGregor lost a fight to Dustin Poirier, and I didn't have as great of a feeling going. I know it's easier to say not to fight through. I knew he was going to lose. I'm not saying that. I still thought he was going to win, but I didn't bet as much money on it as I have in the past with McGregor fights because I had it just had an odd feeling about it. I get that there was just a mutual respect between the two guys, and you could tell that before and after. Um, so that's different than him, just feeding just like hate and like pumping the crap out of it like he has with the Mayweather and Khabib fights. Habib. So that isn't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about on Instagram. He's like putting on his stories. He's like, I don't know. He was like watch shopping, and just like 2 days before the fight, it was just he was a little too relaxed and too. It seemed like he wasn't focused. Like, why are you watch shopping 2 days in a row? Like a couple days before the fight. It was like 2 days in a row. He was at just like ridiculous. I mean, I get where were they? Abu Dhabi, wherever they were, Fight Island. So I'm sure he's like, oh, I gotta go to this fancy watch shop and buy a watch that's worth more than most people's houses. But it was odd. Um, there's two ways it can go, and there's two hot takes I've heard from people on sports radio. Is oh, he should retire. Like he needs. He's done. That's not happening. The second, I think, the more likely, maybe this was a little humbling. I mean, UFC, if you don't know, just from watching it, is incredible, insane. I mean, these guys, you can't. There's a difference between being in shape from riding a bike and being in fighting shape. So maybe McGregor was in shape, but he wasn't in fighting shape. And I mean, it had been months since his last fight. So maybe you got to get your feet a little wet. Does he taste it? Does he still want to do it? Because obviously we all know he's set for life. I mean, he has a clothing company now where he makes suits. I mean, he has the whiskey business. He's hundreds of millions from fighting. So he's fine on that regard. I'm sure he could do movies when once Hollywood opens back up. He's set for life. But he does say in interviews that he loves fighting. It's just what he likes to do. So will this turn into a couple fights this year? He said yes last time we checked before this fight. Does this change anything? Does this make him want to prove that he can still do it? Let's all hope for our entertainment's sake. Uh, I think it could. I think it will. Um, and I would be shocked if he went out like this. I don't think that's his personality. Has the big money changed him? Maybe. Maybe he doesn't care. if people think he's a winner or not. But I mean, going from a guy who wanted his 2 belts to just being okay, ending on like 2, 3 losses, I don't see that happening. I think he's gonna at least try to climb back up the rankings and get a title fight. You would think. So we'll see what happens there. Some MLB news to get to. This is huge in Colorado. So specifically for people now that follow me, because from here, it's Nolan Arenado has been traded now officially as of last night. It was just rumored and sources reporting for the last like week. I guess Friday night it broke. So over the weekend, Nolan Arenado getting traded to the Cardinals. And for those of you that know, I'm a Cardinals fan, so I'm happy about it. Everybody in Colorado is pissed. So the Rockies are sending the Cardinals Nolan Arenado, who's arguably one of the best players in baseball. Oh my gosh. I don't know what is wrong with my voice today. And, I mean, he's a, 5-time Gold Glove winner, 8-time All-Star, yada, 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 Silver Slugger. I mean, awards. You know he's really good. If you know baseball, you know Nolan Arenado is one of the best players. People don't even say he's been snubbed for the MVP. I don't know if I'd go that far, but Rockies fans will. So the Rockies are sending the Cardinals one of the best players and $50 million reportedly. That's not an official number. Usually the person who's getting the good player is the one who sends the money, but the Rockies are sending the Cardinals the money. So the Cardinals are getting money and Arenado, and they gave up, a pitcher and 4 prospects. Now, here's the thing I've been telling Rockies fans. One of those prospects might end up being the next Nolan Arenado. I mean, you never know with those types of things. I mean, if people were good at guessing what prospects were going to be good, the same team would win every single year. There's no one's good at, quote unquote, good at that. People are good at it, but no one's perfect. I mean, you never know. Same thing with drafts, etc. So they gave up 4 really good prospects. We'll see what they mean. It could end up this is the worst trade in MLB history, or it could end up pretty even. Like, oh, okay, the Cardinals needed somebody good now, and the Rockies needed a bunch of young guys to build the future. I told Rockies fans, glass half full. Look at the Astros, if they wouldn't have cheated, and the Rays. The Rays did similar things. They traded away 2 of their best players, got a bunch of young talent, and now look, they went to the World Series a couple of years later because they're just super good, have a bunch of young guys, not on giant contracts. That's a great way to win if you can pull it off and you get good talent. So glass half full, that could happen. Glass not half full, you could get screwed, and then at least guys could pan out. I don't know. For the Cardinals, they got an all-star third baseman. I don't see how it's like. Sounds pretty good to me. They just re-signed Adam Wainwright. They're going to try to re-sign Yadier Molina. I hope, knock on wood. And now they got Goldie on first. They got Arenado on third. Corners are covered. Go Cards. So yeah, that's the baseball update, because that was a blockbuster trade that took the sports world by storm. That's not just like me being a Cardinals fan news. So that was crazy. Speaking of trades, and we'll transition over to the NFL. Again, this one was just sports news in the sports world. This isn't just me being a Rams fan. I just happened that 2 of my favorite teams have been involved in the 2 biggest trades of the off seasons, which is crazy because it's not even the NFL off season yet. It's the Super Bowl's this week, and we already have a blockbuster trade. 2 former first-round overall picks, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, switching teams. Rams also giving up 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick to the Lions. That's the part I don't like. A first and a third, and I think we would have gotten a steal. I think the Lions got the better end. We'll see. Hindsight will always tell us. I think that was a little too much to give up. So We get Matthew Stafford, who's 32, 33. Does he have 4 good years left? I think this does. It bumps the Rams up. It puts them right back in Super Bowl contention. Uh, if we just go off what we know, Stafford's one of the best quarterbacks on one of the worst teams. So let's see if Stafford on a good team helps. Stafford to Robert Woods sounds amazing to me. He's got a cannon, and Robert Woods just off the top will just like, and then Sean McVay. I mean, look what Sean McVay did with Jared Goff. If it's what people say are true, is McVay made Goff better. Stafford's already one of the best quarterbacks in the league. If McVay can make Stafford better, boom, Super Bowls. So I think it was worth it for the Rams to give up 2 first-round picks if they can get a Super Bowl in the next 2 or 3 years. If they get 2 Super Bowls in the next 4 years, we won the deal. Is that setting the bar really high? Yeah, but when you give up a quarterback who took you to the Super Bowl, you gotta. What's better? What's better than making the Super Bowl, winning the Super? So the bar is at winning the Super Bowl. We have to win the Super Bowl to make this trade worth it. I would think, right? I mean, is that a reasonable expectation? And that's, I think, what the intent is when you make a trade like this. I think it's smart because, yeah, we gave up 2 first-round picks, but what are the chances you hit on a late first-round pick being the next Matthew Stafford or Jared Goff? You're not getting that late in the well, I'm not saying that. Good quarterbacks do come late in the draft, but your chances are slim. So you gave up 2 first-round picks, but maybe you got a top 5 quarterback in the league for the next 4 years. Yeah. So that's my thoughts on that. Talk a little Super Bowl. I mean, that's what everybody wants to talk about, right? It's in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, first team ever to host a Super Bowl, to play the Super Bowl in their home stadium. You're all going to hear that on ESPN all day long. Betting advice. I've heard every time Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes have played, they have not won by more than 7. I've also heard the last couple Super Bowls, when it's over a 50-point total, which this one is, it's over 56 points. They don't hit that. So the under seems to be what the professionals are betting. And a lot I'm hearing under on the first half and under on the first quarter, if you're into that type of thing. I guess teams usually play it safe in the Super Bowl. You want to feel each other out, wait for somebody to make a mistake. We'll see if they do that. That doesn't really sound like the Chiefs to me. They seem like I'm faster than you, I'm going to play football. To dumb that down, I mean, that's really how they play. We have more talent, and boom. Tampa Bay gives me vibes almost of like the Rams a few years ago. They had the more talent. They were preseason, supposed to make the Super Bowl. But I don't know if they're going to win it. Chiefs -3. There's stats about just pick the winner here. Either way, they're going to cover 3. So if you think the Chiefs are going to win, just bet it. If you think the Bucs are going to win, obviously they're underdogs. So this isn't really a hot take, but a safe bet. Watch, it's not going to happen. But I think Bucs +7.5. You're not going to win a lot of money. It'd be like 20 to win 9. Like 50 to win 21, I think I was looking. But I think that's a safe bet. Like I was saying, every time these two quarterbacks have played each other, they've never beat each other by more than 7. I think the Bucs are going to keep it close. Hopefully it's a close, entertaining Super Bowl this whole time. And if people think the Chiefs are going to only win by 3, the Bucs keep it within 7. That seems safe to me. Maybe parlay that with something else. I'm even thinking like betting Baylor tonight and then the Bucs +7. So, because you really, I mean, is that worth it to bet $20 to win 8 or 9? Is it better to win $29 though than to lose 20, betting Bucks +3. Because, I mean, the chances they only lose by 3 is, well, I don't like that. So that's my Super Bowl take. Uh, the prop bets are always fun in the Super Bowl. I mean, because everybody's watching. It's a big thing. Uh, but Vegas makes out like bandits on the prop bets. Those are so hard to hit, and you just really got to get lucky. And if you do a couple of them and you hit one of them, is it really worth it? Because you probably lost more than you won on the one prop. A fun one, I think, if you're like with friends and sports betting's legal where you are. If you're in Jersey or Colorado or wherever, Michigan now, um, the first touchdown bets I think are always fun. Just pick a player you already like and bet them to get the first touchdown, a couple bucks. I'm not promoting. I'm not an advised gambler. This is not advice. This is not gambling advice. Put that with your asterisks you see on Twitter. But if you can afford to lose it and you're rooting for that person to score anyway, the first basket in basketball games and first touchdown in football games is a fun one. It's and it's very like, right away. You don't have to wait till the end of the game. It's a little thrill ride in the first quarter, if you will. All right, so that's Super Bowl talk. I don't know if any of that was groundbreaking, if you knew all that or most of that. But there it is for you. Yeah, so we just got some college hoops left. Super Tuesday, baby. If you don't know, I timestamped the pod. It's Tuesday. This is obviously, if you can tell by my excitement level, before Baylor has played Texas. Because if they lose, I would not be this chipper. Actually, it'll be fine. They got one loss in the year. That's not going to hurt anything. But finally, we get a Baylor top 6 matchup. Baylor number 2, Texas number 6 in the latest AP poll. This game was supposed to be played months ago. Baylor has been, what's the word I can use? I was saying Baylor's been screwed by the COVID getting top quality opponent games canceled. Villanova got canceled when they were ranked number 3. Arizona State was in the top 25 and that one got canceled. Gonzaga was number 1 when that game got canceled. Texas was in the top 5 when that game got canceled. West Virginia was in the top 15 when that game got canceled. So Baylor has really, they've been sitting behind Gonzaga because they have been getting all their marquee games canceled, whereas Gonzaga got to play Iowa and they got their big games in. So they're just slightly above Baylor. Baylor number 1 in the net. They're number 1 in a few rankings. In my rankings, they're number 1. And I don't want to be called a homer, Uncle Vern. I get it's a joke. But I've been really debating having them number 1 all year long for that reason. I want to be taken seriously with my rankings. I'm not just ranking Baylor number 1 because I'm a Baylor fan. I didn't do that last year. I'm very this is a real. I had them number 1 preseason, and they haven't lost yet. So I find it very hard, and I know Gary Parrish has a very similar rule with his top 25 and 1 rankings, where we don't really jump teams above other teams that haven't lost. I find it very hard to punish a team. Like, if I have you number 1, to fall from number 1, you should probably lose again. If you're beating everyone by double digits like Baylor is, which is just even more impressive, why am I going to drop you? If they would have played maybe one of these games against West Virginia and Texas and Villanova and Gonzaga, obviously they probably would have lost one already by now. So Gonzaga would probably be ahead of them. And then to reverse it, I mean, Gary Parrish said on his last podcast I listened to, say both of these teams go undefeated, which I'm going to go on the record in this episode and say I think that's really starting to look likely, especially if Baylor wins tonight. We'll get more on that in a second. But say Selection Sunday comes around and both teams are undefeated. Baylor will have the better resume just because they're in the Big 12, and they're going to get more of these good games in against Texas and West Virginia and Kansas. So they'll have the better resume, and they'll probably be the number 1 overall seed. But Gary Parrish said, and I don't disagree with him, He said, I'm still going to have Gonzaga number one in my rankings because I'm not dropping them from number one if they don't lose. I'm sitting in that same boat, but with Baylor. We just have it reversed. And we both agree that they're both 1 and 2, and it's not even close who's number three. So I don't think it's that controversial, and I'm not just doing it because I'm a Baylor fan. Now, here's my hot take. Gonzaga, I think I've already said, I'm on the record. I don't think they're going to lose until Selection Sunday. Up to Selection Sunday, I believe Gonzaga will be undefeated. Now, even the metrics are starting to agree with that. They have more than a 50% chance. They've been favored in every game individually that they're going to play, but obviously percentages go down the more you add up. Now they have more than a 50% chance. So they have a better chance to go undefeated than not to win the rest of their games. That changed about a week or two ago. It's obviously been climbing. Baylor now, before tonight's game versus Texas, they have like a 15% chance to go undefeated. Which is crazy because they're favored in every game by more than a 70% chance individually to win each game. Do I still think Baylor will get caught on the road somewhere in the Big 12? I think you're stupid to say no because it's college basketball and upsets just happen all the time. But when I watch this team, I just don't know who can beat them besides Gonzaga. I really am at the point now, I'm hoping and wanting and thinking we're going to have two undefeated teams for March Madness. And if we could get them in the championship, would be incredible. I mean, that would... I wish we could do a 3-game series. And I've heard people on ESPN and say Baylor and Gonzaga play 10 games tomorrow. Who wins more? And all of them agreed 5-5. It's like they're just both that good. So if we could get a 3-game series championship, this is one of my other silly ideas, hot takes I wanted to get out. I want a 3-game series championship if both teams are undefeated and if they meet in the championship. I want 3 games, and winner of the series gets to claim last year's championship too. That's a great idea. I mean, what's better than that? Get a little revenge for last year. You get 2 title claims, like little ash. Like I'm not talking a real championship. I'm talking like a UCF. We get to paint our cars and make ourselves a trophy champions. Like we're fake champions. Make a ring champions, just a fake one. That'd be sweet. I mean, who wouldn't watch a 3-game series with the 2 undefeated teams in college basketball? That would be amazing. So we're getting close. And if Baylor wins tonight, we'll be even closer, and I think people will start to talk about it. The narrative's going to change. Because right now, it's like I said, you're just stupid to think that Baylor's not going to lose. But I mean, if they go on the road in Austin and beat Texas in convincing fashion, the number 2 team beating the number 6 team, and if you can beat the number 6 team in the country by double digits, who's stopping you? It's really, I mean, if they win tonight, it's Baylor and Gonzaga and nobody else. I'm excited. And it's crazy. I thought the spread was going to be closer tonight. Baylor versus Texas, 5.5-point spread. You're favored to beat the number 6 team in the country in their home gym. I get it's COVID. There's not going to be a lot of fans. But by 6 points? 5.5? You're not even getting 3? So if they cover 6 points on the road versus the number 6 team in the country, they're already the real deal, but that's like the real deal stamp. I mean, that's the stamp of approval. All right, so that's your Baylor Gonzaga news. Number 3 in my rankings and most everybody's rankings. This is actually the same as the preseason. We all thought Baylor, Gonzaga, Villanova, 1, 2, 3. Flip them in any order you want. Now, you can't really flip them in any order. Gonzaga's 3. Houston, 15-1, looking great. Michigan, only one loss too. So those are your 0-1 loss teams, and I think everybody's pretty consistent top five. I'm really high on Tennessee still. They got a good win last week. Texas here has 3 losses. We'll see if Texas is a real deal top five team if they win tonight. If they lose, they're going to have 4 losses and probably still be a top 10 team. I mean, I'm not going to punish them too much for losing to Baylor. Florida State, I'm still really hot on them. I think people are finally starting to catch on. I have Florida State number 8 in my rankings. Let's pump them up, people. They're not just a top 25 team; they're a top 10 team, and I've had them that way all year. Top 14 at least. Virginia starting to look good. Iowa, they're what we said in the preseason. One of the best offensive teams, bad defensive team, so they're getting caught, and that's what we expected. But they're still top 10 team with arguably the best, not even really arguably, the best player in college basketball. Um, Texas Tech, I really don't like having a 5-loss team. I have 3 of them in my top 14, but I just think they're better. So Texas Tech, West Virginia, and Wisconsin are in my top 14. I also have Creighton. It's a 4-loss team. It's number 12. I just think they're better. Missouri, it's hard to see. They just haven't really been losing. Missouri's only a 3-loss team, so I've got them as my next team in the top 14. And I'm just high on Oklahoma State and Oklahoma. I have been all year. I've got them in my top 20. Obviously, people are now. People overreacted and put Oklahoma in their top 10. I didn't really do that. But they're still sitting there at 19. Or Alabama, too. Alabama and Oklahoma kind of in the same boat. Now I have them at 18-19 because Oklahoma just beat Alabama last weekend. So Louisville, I'm still hot on. Carlik Jones is playing like the ACC Player of the Year. He's on my fantasy basketball team. Oregon, I've said it already, sneaky team, man. They're just sitting at 20 in these rankings. Oh, they're just like barely a top 25 team. They're going to be sneaky. UCLA, I've been hot on them. And USC, I think, is a sneaky one. Florida's looking good. Kansas has plummeted. I've got them down to 29. I dropped them out of the top 25. Who'd have thought that? Crazy that I don't have Kansas, Duke, North Carolina, Michigan State, any of them in my top 25. Almost in my top 30. UNC starting to play better. They're gonna maybe start climbing again here. But yeah, Duke's looking bad. I mean, they just lost to Miami. They shouldn't have lost that game. Drake, 16, 17-0. Drake's covering all this. Winthrop was 15-0 at last check. They're still undefeated. They're in my top 40 now. They'll start climbing. The Must Bus took a hit. Illinois, I'm still a little skeptical on. There's really a big drop from like the top 14 quality teams. And then 15 to 35, they're just beating each other up. I mean, everybody's got 4, 5, 6 losses, and you just scramble them. Really. I mean, I don't think people would think you're crazy if you just hit a randomized button on those 15 to 35 teams and just people are like, oh, you could probably make an argument. I just discredited my rankings because I try to take this seriously, but that's your hoops update. I know what people actually, especially once the Super Bowl's over now, college hoop season, baby. I know they actually said on the on the Eye on College Basketball podcast, they said their downloads already went up 10-15% once college football is over. Now you get that crowd coming in for college basketball, and then once the Super Bowl's over, that's when this season really starts heating up, baby. And I feel bad for the people that just tune in at the end because college basketball season's already been so much fun, but there's more around the corner, believe me. And tonight, Super Tuesday, Baylor Bears versus the University of Texas. Horns down. Baylor covers the spread. +6, -6. Let's take it to the moon like GameStop. Don't give up. Diamond hands, hold strong, people. Hold strong. GameStop, it's going to come back. AMC, to the moon. Baylor by 10. Down 2 at halftime. Win the game by 10. Calling it. You heard it here first. Second half team, man. They've been a second half team all year. All right. That was an episode. I got to get out of here. I got stuff to do, but I wanted to get this out. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. That was Dave's Dugout, episode 96 already. Happy Super Bowl betting. I hope my advice helped a little bit. We'll see you next time. Take care.